With this being Shinobi month, you would think I would have picked one of his best titles to start the celebrations with, wouldn't you? But no. I thought it best to get this travesty out of the way first. The game in question is Cyber Shinobi. Shinobi Part 2. And how could Sega ever have let this abomination out through quality control? I will never know. But I guess it just goes to show that even great iconic video game characters can have the odd off day every now and then. So before Cyber Warfare there was Cyber Shinobi. And Cyber Shinobi is a great example of when Sega get things really wrong. Let's start with the visuals that look okay until you start moving, and it all goes bad after that. Every character moves with a certain choppiness about them, and when the gunmen are sitting in front of the fence, you can see their sprite box obscuring the background. This was incredibly poor, and Sega were capable of so much better on the 8-bit Master System. The Shinobi walk seems laboured. It's almost as if he's wearing one of those old person suits to simulate arthritis for a young person. But there is one positive with his walk. When he walks to the right and then walks to the left, it is actually two different sprites. Most 2D games just mirror the sprite when walking, so everything looks the same. But if you look closely at the Shinobi sprite, when he walks to the right, the sword is clearly carried on his left hand side, and so appears to be carried away from the player's view. When he walks to the left, the sword is now clearly in the player's view, but then it swaps arms when he attacks. So this is less of an example of programming genius and more like a bug or flaw. The backgrounds are just rubbish as well, with the majority of them being just a solid colour throughout, with just a small hint of laziness on the coder's part again. But then some levels have a decent amount of background, like level 4 for example, with the woods providing a welcoming change to the mono colour of previous backgrounds. Let's start pulling apart the sound. And this has to be some of the worst music I have ever heard on a Master System. It's these high pitch increases in the music that really irritates the senses, and never mind how bad it sounds, the entire music score is just so odd and out of place for a Shinobi game. The sound effects are really bad as well. The sound Shinobi makes when he jumps is particularly bad. It sounds like Sega sampled the sound of a dive board school ruler, or some kind of wet fart. It's just awful. The sounds when you hit the opponents, it's just more farts. The explosions, even more farts. So far, it's looking very poor for Cyber Shinobi. Can the gameplay save it at all? Well, no. Not at all. You see, the graphics and sounds are the best bits of this game. The gameplay is just rubbish. Absolute garbage. The collision detection is pathetic. Shinobi can strike enemies down with his sword without even being close. And the enemy AI? Nope, there isn't any. The bosses are, well, I'm not sure how to describe the bosses actually. What the heck are they all about? This Tonka truck thing at the end of level 1 looks awful, sounds worse, and poses no challenge whatsoever. And then some of the later levels are not even levels. The first part of level 3 is just you chasing down a helicopter. And then level 5 is just Shinobi dropping down for miles in front of a poorly animated waterfall as you drop all the way down to the level boss. And I have no idea what the heck that thing is. It's almost like the coders were told they only had a few minutes left to finish coding the game or something. It's just awful. Now, I can remember when my mate decided to buy this for his Master System. He told me he thought it would basically be Revenge of Shinobi on the Master System. But even with poor reviews, he was determined he was going to buy it. What an absolute sucker. As bad as it looked, I simply had to have a shot. But after only a few minutes, I could no longer take the pain. I had to stop playing. It was difficult to see Shinobi used in such a poor game. And it is even more baffling to see how Sega got it so wrong. I mean, Shinobi in a Master System is a great game. So why not make another game like that? Whoever suggested this mess at the design meeting should have been terminated on the spot. Anyway, all I ever remembered about Cyber Shinobi was that it was a terrible game, and this is the first time I have played it since 1991, and age definitely has not improved it. As I say, great games always remain great, even years later. They still have the certain little bit of magic about them that makes them great. Bad games just get worse, and Cyber Shinobi is a bad game. But if you like this video, then stay tuned this month for even more Shinobi nostalgia. And don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you like my channel. That's all from me, folks. Thanks for watching.